From County Stadium in Milwaukee, KTLA presents California Angels Baseball. Dick Enberg with Don Wells from County Stadium in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The Angels meet the Milwaukee Brewers. This is the first of a doubleheader today, a crowd of around 10,000. We had a tremendous electrical storm on Friday night, but it's cleared the air, and there is no forecast of showers today. The Angels and Nolan Ryan were defeated on Friday night 7-2 by the Brewers, but came back dramatically yesterday to win on John Stephenson's pinch hit home run in the ninth inning, 4-3. The pitching matchup today, left-hander Rudy May goes for the Angels. He's 2-7, and a product of Santa Paula, California, a graduate of Whittier College, is warming up right now. Jim Colburn. Colburn is 1-2. He has not lost any. He beat the Angels at Anaheim the last trip home, and he will get the start today with Skip Lockwood expected to start with a sore shoulder, so Colburn pitches the first game. Defensively, George Scott at first base. At second base, Ron Clark. Shortstop for the Brewers, young Rick Auerbach from Woodland Hills, California. At third base, Mike Ferraro. Ferraro, one of the original men drafted in the expansion move a few years ago by the Seattle Pilots. Ex-Angel Tommy Reynolds in left field. Dave May in center. Ollie Brown is in right field. And the first pitch of the game by Jim Colburn is taken by Ken Berry. Berry moved up into the number one spot by Del Rice today, and Sandy Alomar, who has not been getting on base as much as the skipper of the Angels would like, is hitting eighth. 1 ball, 1 strike. The catcher is John Felsky. Colburn is 6 feet tall, 185, just 26 years old. Misses the outside corner, 2-1. Berry with a top average of the Angels who play regularly. He's hitting .301. The Angels as a team currently the third best team average in the American League. Fouled out of play. In the first inning, it'll be Ken Berry, then shortstop Leo Cardenas, right fielder Veda Pinson. The rest of the order, first baseman Bob Oliver, catcher John Stevenson, third baseman Ken McMullen, left fielder Jim Spencer, then Alomar and the pitcher May. And the count is full to Ken Berry. Cardenas, hitting safely in 7 straight games, on deck. Out of play. County Stadium in Milwaukee, with all the rains they've had this summer, the turf is in great shape. The outfield is still a bit soggy, but a very rich green turf. 3-2 pitch. Third baseman Ferraro to George Scott for the first out. Shortstop Leo Cardenas is hitting .206. Has hit safely in 7 games in a row. He homered an unusual inside the park home run yesterday in the 9th inning. At the time, the Angels trailed by 2 runs, 3-1. Cardenas hit one deep to left field, a line drive. Johnny Briggs made the catch, but then crashed headfirst into the wall, was knocked out, lost the ball, and by the time it could be retrieved, Cardenas circled the bases for a home run. That made it 3-2. Catcher Art Kushner followed with a single, and John Stevenson jumped off the bench to hit a 2-run pinch homer to win it 4-3. Slice down the right field line. That'll make it back into the crowd foul. Allie Brown watching it go into the seats. Slow curves of beauty. Colburn, a most interesting man, learned, articulate. He is a graduate of Whittier College and graduate student, University of Washington, had a fellowship at University of Edinburgh in Scotland. He gets Cardenas looking. Two outs. Right fielder Vada Pinson hitting .274. Vada, of course, played here with the Cincinnati Reds when the Milwaukee Braves made this their home park. Colburn knows how to find the strike zone. This is his first start of the season. He came to the Brewers in the trade that sent Jose Cardinal to the Cubs. Off the fists of Pinson, out of play. That was quite a trade for Milwaukee. They got Brock Davis, left-handed pitcher Earl Stevenson, and Jim Colburn, all for Jose Cardinal, and all three of those men have made the Milwaukee squad. Two-strike pitch. First of two. Colburn duels Rudy May in this game. It'll be Lloyd Allen against Big Bill Parsons in the nightcap. Jim, chatting with him before the game, he's a big UCLA basketball fan. That's all he wanted to talk about. Fouled, out of play. Two pitch. Just missed the corner. It is a very bright day. There are some large white thunderheads passing over the stadium, and at times you'll see the shadows, as is the case right now. Roll to the right side. Ron Clark can't make the play. Error charge to the second baseman Clark on a routine ground ball. Here it is again. The grass is very tall, so anything hit on the ground in the infield is slowed up. It appeared that Clark tried to throw the ball before he had it. So the Angels get an extra out in the first inning. Here's Bob Oliver batting .289 with the top run-producing totals on the club. He scored the most runs. He has the most hits. 11 home runs tops and 46 runs batted in the top 5 in the American League. Pinson, a serious threat to steal. He's tried 13 steals this year, made good on all but 2. Oliver not afraid to go to right field with that outside fastball, and that has certainly helped him as a percentage hitter. He's not trying to pull everything. His home run on Friday night, a 2-run homer, was to right center. Curveball misses 1-1. One ball, 2 strikes the count. See Oliver up on the handle with 2 strikes. A little reminder to Pinson. First base umpire is Lou DeMuro. Jim Honachik is calling the balls and strikes with Bill Deegan at second, Larry McCoy at third. Hinson goes. It's strike three anyway. So Oliver and Cardenas take strike three in the first inning. No runs, no hits, an error, and a man left. And after a half inning, the Angels nothing. The Brewers against Rudy May are coming to bat. County Stadium in Milwaukee. Bottom of the first inning, the Angels defensively feature Oliver at first base. Sandy Alomar in his 555th consecutive game at second. Cardenas at short. And Ken McMullen at third. The outfield from left to right has Spencer in left, Barry in center, Pinson in right. One of yesterday's stars, John Stevenson, behind the plate. And 27-year-old Rudy May on the mound. May is 1-2, lost 7, his ERA 3.89. He'll face Rick Auerbach, then Dave May and George Scott in the first inning. Curve misses. May has no decision against the Brewers this year. He does have a save, however. 2-0. Fastball low, 3-0. May has a bad track record in the first inning. He's slow getting out of the gate. And he walks Auerbach on 4 pitches. Auerbach hitting .210. So Oliver comes over to hold on the runner as center fielder Dave May steps to the plate. May against May. Strike with a fastball. See, Dave May, he takes full advantage of the depth of that batter's box. Could be 2. Alomar with an in-between hop to Cardenas, to Oliver, not in time. It was not well coordinated at all, and of course the beauty of the double play is the tremendous coordination required by the shortstop and second baseman, and this just wasn't handled very cleanly. First of all, Alomar had to handle a tough in-between hop. Did that all right, but Cardenas, apparently anticipating the throw a little sooner, was almost off the bag when he received it, took an extra step, and then the play at first close, but no cigar. May safe on the fielder's choice. Auerbach erased 4-6. The Angel double play combination has not done what Del Rice had hoped it would. There have been plays such as that one where you would expect to and don't get it. George Scott hitting .235. The boomer catered Clyde Wright yesterday, a 2-run homer deep to left. As Scotty would say, he took right out onto the freeway. With all of the new baseball language, and I think it's generally agreed that the black player has brought the new lexicon to the game, and Scott perhaps as instrumental as any. He has his own vocabulary, and it began when he started calling home runs taters, and that caught on. And now that everyone else is using the word tater, he calls them dingers. And his close friend Reggie Jackson, he keeps saying, tell Jack to watch out. With that dinger yesterday, his 9th of the year, he's only 7 behind Jack. Scott with 37 runs batted in, tied with Johnny Briggs for the club lead. Check this swing. Scotty was talking about Blue Moon Odom with Oakland and how Carl Yastrzemski used to hit Blue Moon. 2-0. He said Odom just didn't like to pitch to Yaz at all because if he threw him a strike, Yaz would take him up into the cameras. And you have to know Fenway Park to appreciate that because the center field camera, usually all by itself, is in the hitter's eye, and to hit one there is a real poke. Apparently Yaz drilled a few up there off Odom. 3-0 the count. Another Scottism. Home plate is called the dish, of course, sometimes. He says he'll step up to the Pentagon. Three and one. See the Pentagon there. May, for a left-hander, does not have a particularly good move to first. Jackie Moore is the coach at third for the Brewers, and Roy McMillan at first. The runner going, and that's going to be an out. As Stevenson throws out Dave May, Alomar with a tag. Scott took strike two, so on 3-1 there was a cross-up for the Brewers. Scott should not have been taking the pitch. And May is thrown out by Stevenson 2-4. Here it is again. And May out easily. That was not a steal, but a hit and run that backfires. Three balls, two strikes. Two outs, no score, bottom of the first. Curve low, and Scott is on. So the steal, or May running on the last pitch and being thrown out, becomes a pretty big move for the Angels defensively. With two outs, Scott is on. But, well, the Brewers could have two on and only one out. Tommy Reynolds is the batter. He's hitting 200, 10 hits, and 50 at-bats. Scott is not a bad base runner at all. In fact, he leads the club in stolen bases with 11. He goes. Stevenson to Alomar. Not in time. A good slide by Scott, who took the inside pass. The throw is a little to the first base side, and Scotty, reading the second baseman well, able to fade away. Pitch is called a strike. Stevenson's throw just a little offline. Look at Scott take the inside route. Beautiful move by Scott. And Alomar unable to find him. Oh, that's lovely. Two strikes now to Tommy Reynolds, who takes a fastball, and it's now 0-2. Number 12 for Scott. Big lead by Scotty. Two-strike pitch. Got him. Reynolds, without a swing on three pitches, is struck out. No runs, no hits, one left for the Brewers, and after one, no score. The Angels and Brewers, no score. We go to the top of the second inning. There's first base coach Bobby Winkles. And for the Angels, a third, relaying the signs from the third base dugout from Del Rice is Peanuts Lowry. In the top of the second, against Jim Colburn, John Stevenson, Ken McMullen, and then Jim Spencer are scheduled. Stevenson hitting .367. He's been up only 60 times with 22 hits. He has been up twice in this series, both times as a pinch hitter, and he's delivered an RBI single and a two-run homer. The home run in the ninth yesterday, winning it for the Californians 4-3. Slices that foul. We asked Stevenson on the radio postgame show, and he was very excited having won the game for Clyde Wright. And he doesn't hit many home runs. Yesterday was his first of this season. But how many home runs have you hit your major league career? High, 1-1. He has hit only 10. And you would think that a man who hit so few would remember them all. And he said, well, I'm sure it's 12. Ground ball to Clark. There's the first out. And it wasn't a matter of Stevenson exaggerating it all. He just felt that he had hit more than he did. And I guess that's about how we all feel about ourselves. We'd like to think positively. Ken McMullen, neighbor of Jim Colburn. Ken from Oxnard, and that's not too far down the line from Santa Paula. Off the head of the bat. 1 ball, 1 strike. The American League schedule. Doubleheader here. Oakland plays a single game at New York, and the A's on Joe Rudy's 9th homer of the year lead 1-0 after 1. Hamilton against Stottlemyre. Kansas City at Detroit. It'll be Nelson and Slayback at Tiger Stadium. In Minnesota, Boston sends Marty Patton against Bert Blyleven. Baltimore hosts the White Sox up there. No report yet. Cleveland at Texas tonight. Inside 3-1. I can imagine some of the Los Angeles Dodgers watched themselves on Sports Challenge from Dodger Stadium today as they were beaten by the old Brooklyn Dodgers. And Duke Snyder and Jackie Robinson and Carl Erskine will be on again before our telecast on Tuesday night at 4 o'clock from Boston. Inside, and McMullen, who has walked more than any Angel, has his 31st free pass of the season. The Dodgers host Montreal at Dodger Stadium this afternoon. Atlanta's at Chicago. Stone against Putin. Houston leads Pittsburgh 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning in Pittsburgh. Griffin and Moose. Cincinnati at St. Louis. The pitchers posted Billingham and Durham. The Mets are at San Diego, and Philadelphia at San Francisco today. Jim Spencer, the batter. Two strikes on Spencer. Jim hitting .243. Jim is bothered by that sore knee that he hurt late last season, and he's not 100%. The players, sensing a long day, seem very deliberate in their actions here early. 1-2. Not much life demonstrated on either side. Two and two. Fly ball to shallow center. Auerbach or May or Reynolds. It is Reynolds between them, the left fielder, to make the catch. Reynolds had the best angle. He was not fighting the sun as much as the other two, and wisely moved in to make the play. Auerbach was really struggling to find it. Sandy Alomar, this is his 555th straight game. He's number 18 all-time in the big leagues in durability. 8th longest streak in the American League. Clark to Scott. In the second inning, no runs, no hits, 1 left. And after 1.5, Angels nothing, Brewers nothing. Bottom of the second inning, no score. County Stadium in Milwaukee. And we might give you a look along with some of the pretty usherettes. The field itself, just to orient you. The outfield, 315 down the right field line and 320 down the left field line. It is 402, the straightaway center field. If you pull the ball here, you get a pretty easy home run. It's 362 behind the left and right fielder. Right center, left center, average distance. Ollie Brown, the batter, takes the ball. You can pull it down that line, though. That's not too far. 320 and 362 to straightaway left. Change, 1-1. Brown hitting .235, acquired from the Oakland A's on waivers 2.5 weeks ago. That's not a hook foul. Open bleacher section in left field. The large double deck area runs from first around to third behind home. Hit the right center, but off the trademark, and Ken Berry has an easy play. Didn't get it out on the sweet spot. Ron Clark, the second baseman, hitting .222. He homered off Nolan Ryan on Friday night. He hit one of those sidearm curveballs into the left field bleachers. Clark, too, acquired from the Oakland A's. Ball one. Oliver will watch that one go into the crowd. Wait, oh my, he's able to reach in and pick it out of there. We thought it was going to be back several rows, and Oliver using that long arm of the law to take that ball right out of the seat. Let's see it again. When I left the bat, it appeared that Oliver had no play on it. Stevenson, you see, trying to read it, and Bob Oliver reaching almost into the second row to take that one away from a fan. 2 outs. Good play. Mike Ferraro, the batter, swings and misses at the first pitch. Ferraro, hitting .246, drove in a run with a single yesterday. 1-1. Ex-Angel Archie Reynolds, traded by the California club to Milwaukee for Kurt Moten. He is with the club. On the corner, 1-2. Reynolds called up from Evansville. He's in uniform today. And Ken Brett, the left-hander, on the disabled list. Change gets Ferraro. 2 strikeouts for May. The Brewers go 1-2-3 in the second. And after 2 innings, no score. Ron Clark's been busy and has another assist as May grounds out on the first pitch. That's 4 balls hit to Clark in the first 2 innings and a third. Ken Berry, he bounced to third, his first at bat. Angels looking for their first base hit against Jim Colburn. Good breaking pitch. Colburn beat the Angels on July 6th. A week ago last Thursday. Pitched 6 1/3 innings in relief, allowed only 4 hits and no runs as he relieved Skip Lockwood and got the win in a 6-5 Milwaukee victory. Another breaking ball on the corner, 0-2. He did not walk a man in the 6 1/3 innings, and he has shown excellent control hitting the corners today. Tried to get Berry to fish for that one. The Angel base runners Pinson safe on Clark's error in the first, and McMullen with a one-out walk in the second. That's been it. And the Brewers also hitless in 2. Low and away. Three and two. Berry went 3 and 2 in the first inning before grounding out. That's how Colburn uses the far corner of the rubber, the third base side, to push off. And he misses with a breaking ball. So after jumping ahead of Berry, he misses on 4 straight curves. Second walk, and here's shortstop Leo Cardenas. Cardenas took a third strike his first time up. No score, top of the third, 1 out. Cardenas with his best stretch of hitting as an Angel in low and away, going 7 straight games with at least 1 hit. 11 for 27, 407 average, and a couple of home runs in there. 8 RBIs. Kenneth Lowry has gone through his signs. That one upstairs. We get a chance, we'll take a shot of the bullpens. The Angels tucked way back under that giant scoreboard in right center field. We have a birthday man out there today. One ball, 1 strike to Cardenas. Fair ball. Berry's going to try to go to third. Here's Reynolds' throw. Cut off. They might have had him. Auerbach cut it off. It could be that the third baseman Ferraro said cut it off if the throw was offline. So Berry gambles, makes it to third on a single by Leo Cardenas. The Angels have their first hit, and with only 1 out, a chance to get on the board first here in the third inning. The ball was not hit that hard. It was off the end of the battle line drive, and with that heavy grass in the outfield, it rolled dead in a hurry, and that allowed Berry to gamble. Infield for the Brewers will look for 2, and Pinson up with a chance to get a run in on and out. That should get him home. A high fly to center. Berry tagging. And here he comes with the first run of the game. Pinson's deep fly to center, his 26th run batted in, and the Angels jump in front 1-0. May's only thought at this point is to make sure the runner from first isn't tagging, and his throw comes into second base. And Berry scores. So the walk pays off for the Angels. Here's Bob Oliver. He hits it hard to Auerbach, and there's the out at second. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 left, and after 2.5, the Angels won, the Brewers nothing. Andy Costco there next in line at the water cooler, and Andy still remembered here in Milwaukee, played with the Brewers last season, and there's some 100 members of the Andy Costco fan club. Presented him with another Superman t-shirt yesterday, and Andy is very touched by the fact that he is still remembered even though he wears another uniform. Slide right down the line, the winner yesterday. Out deep, way in the back in the dark, that's where the Angels are located. The Brewers are in the front portion of that area, and deep under the scoreboard, you can barely see the figures of the Angel relief corps. Eddie Fisher celebrating his 36th birthday out there today. John Felsky, the catcher. Curveball strike. Big guy, 6'4", 200. High fly ball to shallow left. Spencer with a late start. Berry's going to help him out. Oh, an alert play by the Bandit. He ran a quarter of a mile to get to that one. Spencer didn't read it well off the bat at all, and Jim is fighting the sun. And Barry, playing very deep in center field, came a good distance. See where Barry is? You caught a look of him there. Spencer wasn't going to get it, I don't believe, but Barry able to make the basket catch. 1 out. Jim Colburn has been up 10 times with 1 hit. Good fastball. We mentioned how when the sun is out, how bright it is. There's a lot of glare, and we would guess it's tough for the hitters to pick up the ball. Good curve. Two strikes to Colburn. Curve foul. The Angels with a run, top of the third, and they lead 1-0. Only 1 hit in the game, and that's Leo Cardenas' single that got Barry around to third, where he could come home on Veda Pinson's sacrifice fly. Inside. Curve hit well to left, but Spencer is there. Best hit ball off Rudy May, a line out to left from Jim Colburn. 2 outs, shortstop Rick Auerbach will be the batter. Colburn read this one all right. The Angels had about 6 or 7 of those yesterday with men on base, just hot shot liners that went right through a glove. It appeared to be Milwaukee's day until the 9th, when trailing 3-1, the Angels got the inside the park homer from Cardenas and the 2-run blast from John Stevenson. Auerbach walked his first at bat. May next. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Out of play. Auerbach wears his RBI count on his back and his front. I know his mother and father watching in Woodland Hills today. Change curve gets him. The 3rd strikeout for Rudy May. He has ended each inning with a K. 1, 2, 3. The Brewers go in the 3rd, and after 3 at County Stadium, the Angels won, Milwaukee 0. Leading it off for the Angels will be John Stevenson. The dude has really pitched well. Rudy has had the good curve, good change going for him. If he can pitch that way, he'll be all right. John Stevenson lays one out of the right center field, but coming out for it, Dave May. May picks it off. Little John lines to right center. Stevenson then 0 for 2. And the batter will be Ken McMullen. Mac Watt with it. Mac swings and drives it out of the left field with Reynolds there. Tommy right on the spot. And Tommy on the spot takes care of it. Ken McMullen flies out. And we'll bring along Jim Spencer. Jim flies to left field in the 2nd. Jim Colburn, was most impressive against the Angels on July 6th at Anaheim Stadium. He came on to relieve Skip Lockwood, picked up the victory. Spence takes the breaking stuff inside, ball 1. The Angels only managed a few hits off James, and of the 4 that he allowed, came on to relieve in the 3rd and then finished up the game. 2 of them were infield hits.
1-0 pitch. Spence with a ground ball to the right side. George Scott. Great hands to Scotty working there, and the toss to Colburn for the out to retire the side. Colburn breezes through the Angels here, and the score at the end of the top of the fourth. It's the Angels 1, Milwaukee 0. Move now to the last half of inning number 4. Dave May comes to bat. Dave hit into a force play in the first inning. And then he was nailed at second base, hit and run on. He was tossed out at second by Stevenson. Off the curve, ground ball to Bob Oliver. Big Bob's going to make the play himself, and he does. 0-1. That's the first man gone here in the last half of the fourth. You know, Bob Oliver, we were talking about it after the game yesterday. That Bob, of course, this was a very routine play. There are other occasions where he's had to cover far more distance. And usually Bob likes to make the play himself. He doesn't like to risk the possibility on the exchange, that is the toss of the ball, that it may be dropped. And at the same time, he's such an imposing figure there at first base. Here's the pitch to Scotty, fouled away, 0-1. At the same time, with the size of Oliver, when he starts to the bag, and you can't continue to do it because sometimes somebody's just going to attempt to commit suicide and charge right into you. But Bob Oliver and George Scott, both of them, kind of keep you at a pretty good distance. At least you start to slow up a bit as you get to within about 15 feet of the bag with the man coming over to make the unassisted play. Scott swings through the next one to make the count 0-2. Scott walks and swipes second in the first inning. Curve to him away in the count 1-2. Yep. Here the Angels lead 1-0 last of the fourth. Scott takes it low and close. And the count 2-2. And the next delivery, Scott goes out to the curve. And again, the off-speed breaking ball thrown by May. And this has been that big gold-plated pitch for him this afternoon. Scott is cut down on strikes. So Rudy has been able to pick up at least a strikeout per inning. Got Reynolds in the first. He got Ferraro in the second. Struck out Auerbach in the third. Now he gets Scott as the second out here in the fourth inning. Here's Tommy Reynolds. And the pitch. Low and close. 1-0. Tom in the lineup because of the absence of John Briggs. Curve, line, foul. Those curves that Rudy has he's shown a little bit of hang to a couple of pitches. He's been fortunate here this afternoon. On both occasions, they have been the hitters who have been well out in front, and they've pulled them sharply, but foul. 1-1 pitch. Fastball, rip foul. So first the hang and curve, and now the fastball, and two line shots off Reynolds' bat. Count 1-2. John Briggs, who represents so much of the offense of this Milwaukee team. John may miss more than just this doubleheader. 1-2 delivery, line drive, base hit. So Rudy came back to the breaking ball, and Tommy Reynolds produces Milwaukee's first hit. Tommy Reynolds collects it. Here's Ollie Brown. Brown flies to center field in the second. And Briggs made the play yesterday on the shot by Cardenas out to the warning track. It would have been the play of the year for us. He made a spectacular effort. Only then to knock himself out when he hit his head at the base of the wall. And the pitch. Good curve for strike 0-1. The Angels and the men from Brewtown finish up this season series here this afternoon. Oh, 1 pitch. Fastball grounded to Sandy Alomar. Sandy flips to Leo horseplay to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors and a man left. Score at the end of 4, Angels 1, Brewers nothing. It'll be Alomar, Rudy May, and then center fielder Ken Berry. Colburn deals. Sandy reached out for it, fouls it off. Curls it right out in front of us. 0-1. Ferraro Angels tucked in a third, and Alomar dumps the bunt. Coburn's going to have problem here. He's up, snaps the throw just in time. Coburn, good play as he pounced on that one very quickly. You're going to look at it now. Sandy dumping that bunt well. Fine fielding by Jim Coburn as you get another look at it. Alomar trying to bunt to get on. And he is denied. So Sandy 0 for 2. Rudy May steps in. Rudy 0 for 1. Coburn grounded him out in the third. May drives it foul down the left field line. Fact of the matter is, there have been, 3 outfield putouts. Spencer and McMullen both skied to Tommy Reynolds in left. Stevenson line to center, and there's one additional. Veda Pinson with that sacrifice fly. Ground ball up the middle, but going for it is Park. Has a little trouble with it now. Makes the toss to Scott for the out. Ken Berry 0 for 1. He grounded to third. Then he walked in the third. He checked across with the only run we have eyewitnessed so far. Those lean totals on the board. The Angels 1 run, 1 hit. Milwaukee no runs, 1 hit. Berry pops it up. George Scott. Boomer wants it. He grabs it for the out. So the Angels 1, 2, 3 again against Coburn. And the score at the end of the top of the fifth. Angels 1, Milwaukee nothing. Leadoff man is Ron Park. First delivery misses, ball 1. Park 0 for 1. Curve, low and post. Bob Oliver retired Park on a very fine piece of fielding on the part of Bob. He went to the rail and had to reach it about a row and a half deep. The fans didn't challenge him. Here's a high pop, right side of the plate, no chance for play. Stevenson will forget about it, and the count is 2-1. When you reach over the rail, usually, when you're on the road, somebody in there is going to give you a little bit of a tug of war. When you're on your home grounds, fans are a little friendlier, but most ballparks, they'll give you a struggle when you go in after what they're hoping is a souvenir for them, and Oliver was able to make the play. I can remember when Ferris Payne tried to do that in Philadelphia. Reached over the railing and reached up into the seats, and a fan punched him out. Broke his jaw. There were some mean cats in those days. 2-1 pitch. Swung on, cranked up the middle. Leo Cardenas ranging to his left well. Snaps the throw for the out. So Park is a gunner. That will bring up Mike Ferraro. Mike Ferraro struck out in the second. Big Bob there at first base. What an asset he's been to the Angels. Curve for a strike, 0-1. Ground ball out of May's reach, but Alomar shaded towards second, picks it off and tosses it on to Oliver. So very quickly on a couple of groundouts, Brewers have 2 away. And here's their big catcher, big man from Illinois, John Felske. Close, ball 1. Good when Fred is through there for a strike to make it 1-1. Felske was retired on some great fielding by Ken Berry. You notice the position of Ken now. He's in straightaway center field and deep. He had to come all the way in the shallow left field to handle a fly ball off Felske's bat when John batted in the third. Jim Spencer playing deep. Jim, of course, a bit of trouble for Jim from a speed standpoint. Good jump on the ball, though. Here's a shot aimed in that direction. This ball may go. Back goes Spencer. Finding room, and he's got it. 392-foot mark out there, but Spencer takes care of Felske. 1, 2, 3. The loud way. And with nothing across the score at the end of 5. Angels 1, Milwaukee nothing.